Hey folks, I'm Matt and welcome to the Good Trouble Show. The UAP juggernaut continues with the release of Lou Elizondo's #1 New York Times bestseller, Imminent, and the UAP Disclosure Act of 2024, which the Senate will soon consider for inclusion in the National Defense Authorization Act. While we have been focusing on the national security and legislative policy of UAP, it's also important we hear from folks that have actually experienced the phenomenon firsthand. Today we have the founder of the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance, who will share his personal experiences. But first, please hit the subscribe and thumbs up buttons on YouTube. Leave a comment and let us know what you think about this episode. You can also find us on X at Good Trouble Show and everywhere else at The Good Trouble Show. You can also find us wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Search for The Good Trouble Show with Matt Ford. And if you would like to chip in to keep the lights on, you can become a Patreon member of The Good Trouble Show by going to www.patreon.com/The Good Trouble Show. Sign up and you can support our work. Our next guest is an author, veteran of Hollywood, and a leading publicist for over 40 years. His lifelong experiences with the phenomenon led him to create the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance and to write 4 best-selling books. Here to discuss his latest work, My Paranormal Life, please welcome Dan Harari. Dan, how are you, sir?
Good, Matt. How are you, man?
I'm very well, thanks. Surviving this absolutely insane heat. I think yesterday out here in LA, it was, I think in my home, it got close to like 116 or 117. I feel like we're all just going to melt.
It was incredible. I've been here 44 years. I've never seen anything like this. Yesterday, I had lunch with a friend at Factor's Deli in Beverly Hills, my favorite deli. And then I went back into my car to do some errands. It was so hot, I couldn't put my seatbelt. It was 108 inside my car. It was 108. I couldn't put the seatbelt on. It burned my hand.
So, Dan, you are a Hollywood publicist by trade. What does a publicist do, and how do you get started in something like that?
Well, that's a great question, Matt. My mother has been asking me that question for 40 years as well. So my mother has she's almost 90. She'll be 90 a month from right now.
Awesome.
And what does a publicist do, Danny? My mother has no clue what a publicist. A publicist, I think of it this way, Matt. A publicist is a matchmaker, okay? A publicist is a matchmaker between someone or something. It could be a celebrity, it could be a TV show, a film, a book, an author, an event, a charity, something on one hand that has news, something, an entity that has interesting news. Then there's the publicist, is the matchmaker in the middle. And then on the other side is the media, podcasters like you, the New York Times, CNN, USA Today. TV, radio, podcast. A publicist meets with their client or whoever it is that they're representing. It could be anything, man. It could be a law firm. It could be a real estate company, a bank, whoever the publicist is working with. You meet with those leaders there and you craft the story. What is their story? What is it that they need to tell the world? And then you write, it's either a press release or a pitch. I hate that word, man, but it's called a pitch, a media pitch.
Right.
And then I've been doing this for almost 41 years. A good publicist has relationships with media people on the other end. So you craft the story that you want to tell on behalf of your client or whoever it is you're representing, and then you present it to the LA Times or CNN or Time or Huffington Post or whoever it is, the Wall Street Journal, that you want to get those articles into. It's a niche area. Here's a funny story, Matt. I went to Boston University for 4 years in the 70s. I studied communications at their world-famous communications school, okay? Three funny things. One is Howard Stern was there 2 years ahead of me.
I love Howard.
I used to see him around in the hallway. I didn't know him then. I met him 10 years later in Hollywood, but he's so tall you couldn't miss Howard
Right,
Stern.
You can't miss the guy.
Number 2 is at my college graduation. This is on the lawn in front of the School of Communications. They had my parents were there, my brothers, my closest friends. And there's a stage with the PA system. Matt, the PA system didn't work. at the
Wow.
School of Public. And my dad shook his head. He goes, "This is what I spent $40,000 on."
Sounds like they'd need a stronger alum program there to help fund them.
And the third thing is I studied every single thing at that school except public relations. I studied marketing, journalism, advertising, TV production, radio production, mass communications, a lot of marketing stuff. But and I remember when my senior year, someone said, "Dan, you should study PR." I go, "Why? Why would I study PR? I'm not going to do PR. That's dumb. I hate PR. I didn't even know what PR was, man."
Sure.
I've been doing PR for 40 years, so it's the one thing I didn't study in school.
Yeah, it's funny. No one has once asked to see my degree, so I completely understand. Now, and I looked into some of the work that you've done. You've represented some pretty famous people. Some of whom I think some of your clients people would recognize. Who are some of these clients people at home might know?
Well, the biggest celebrity client that I had was Jay Leno. I represented Jay Leno from 87 to 89. I was his publicist, and he had just gotten he was Johnny Carson just named him the permanent guest host of The Tonight Show when I had Jay. In fact, I wrote that press release. If I can find it, I would frame it because I have it. I think I have it in a drawer somewhere. But Jay, nicest guy in the world, just like he appears. He was as unpretentious backstage. I used to hang with him, man, in his dressing room at The Tonight Show. He'd be in his underwear. We'd have a meeting with him and his manager. And hey, Dan, come on in. Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? Everything fine? Yeah, what's going on, man? How you doing? It's just exactly like he is in real life. So Jay Leno was I'm not a celebrity publicist. I'm a entertainment industry publicist.
Got it.
What that means is I've worked on TV shows, films, events, red carpet premieres, things like that. And as a result of those things, I've met or interacted with, the who's who of Hollywood. But only a few celebrity clients per se. The other one was Sid Caesar. I was Sid Caesar's publicist for the same 2 years, 87, 89. Funniest guy in the world in front of people. And anywhere he went, oh, Sid Caesar, and he just start doing shtick and making people laugh. But not to disparage the dead, but in private, he was not a happy person.
Wow.
He had a lot of anger issues. I used to hang with him at his home, and he'd yell at his wife, "Florence, where the hell's my lunch? I'm hungry." And his poor wife would bring, I swear to God, poor wife would bring a tray, and she'd be like this beaten, dog. And here's Sid, here's your. So those are I worked with Dixie Carter. I worked with Dee Wallace from E.T. I spent a day with Spielberg. So lots and lots of people that I've interacted with, but I'm not a Hollywood celebrity. There are publicists. There are many who that's what they do.
I do have some photos that of you with some of these pretty interesting folks. Let's have a look here. This is that's Milton Berle, right?
I spent a day with Milton Berle. I think it was 88. He had a book called not P.S. B.S. I Love You by Milton Berle, and I spent a day with him. We did a bunch of TV shows that day. Here's my Milton Berle story. The guy's a million years old, right? I'm backstage. He pulls up in his car, gets out. He's all hunched. He's old, man. He's hunched over. He looks like he's 500 years old. I go, "Hi, Milton. How you doing?" "I'm Dan." He goes, "Hello, Dan. Nice to meet you." Hunched. He's walking. He's shuffling very slowly. I led him to his dressing room. He goes to his dressing room, maybe 15, 20 minutes. He comes out. He's got a suit on. He's got the cigar. He's got his makeup on. "Hey, Dan, how you doing, man? Everything good? Yeah. Where do you want me? Where's the camera? Where's the microphone? Where do you want me, Dan?" And Matt, my first thought was, what have you done to Milton Berle? It was a different person. It's just like Sid Caesar. Before a camera, they became a different person.
Now, this is one of my favorite photos because this was actually my favorite show as a kid. This is Bob Denver, right?
So let's see, what years?
Gilligan's Island.
Okay. Let me try to think. 85 to 87.
Okay.
I was the publicist at Columbia Pictures Television in Burbank, and one of their shows was believe it or not, the new Gidget, the not the original Gidget, the new
Okay.
Gidget. So I was the publicist for the new Gidget. We spent a week in Honolulu, and the episode was the cast of the new Gidget meets Gilligan and the skipper. I
Oh
also have a
boy.
picture like this of the skipper. So this is me and Gilligan in Honolulu, Hawaii. We're shooting a week's worth of Gidgets, and the nicest guy, him and the skipper, couldn't have been nicer.
Was it
You know,
Alan
totally.
Hale was his name, I think?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
should have sent. I don't think I sent that one to you, man. But yeah, I have the
That's
same kind of picture with Alan Hale. It's the nicest people on the planet.
Oh, I'll bet. Okay, now, so as I mentioned, you've written 4 books, the first of which was Flirting with Fame, which
Yes.
recounts it's kind of like some of your past celebrity stories. Is there anything of interest? Oh, there we go. All right, great.
My mother watches these and she yells at me. You have to promote your books more, Danny. What's wrong with you? All
So,
right, Flirting with Fame. That's my first book. That's my first baby. Yeah.
do you have any stories with UFO debunker, professional debunker Neil deGrasse Tyson at all?
Well, here's the thing. All right, so my first book came out 2 years ago, Flirting with Fame. And Matt, that's purely my entertainment industry career. Nothing to do with aliens or UFOs or paranormal.
Got it.
When I wrote that book, I was not yet in the paranormal mental mode. But a couple funny stories. I met Jerry Seinfeld in 1981 at a car wash. I was getting my boss's car washed. He was getting his car washed. I had seen him the year before in New York City. And so in 1981, we're in LA in West Hollywood, and just me and him are getting car washed. And I go, Jerry Seinfeld? He goes, yeah. I go, my name is Dan. I shook his hand. I go, I'm your biggest fan. And he goes, really? I didn't know I had any fans. And I swear to God, I swear to you and my daughter, that's a true story. I didn't know I had any. I'm Jerry Seinfeld's first fan, literally.
Wow.
I said, why are you getting your car washed? Anything special? He said, yeah, I'm on my way to do the Tonight Show. I'm really nervous. He did his very first Tonight Show the day I met him at the car wash. Okay. And then
Wow.
I was friends with him for a short period of time. I met Meryl Streep at a ABC TV event. She was there with Kevin Costner. Kevin, nicest guy in the world, no problem. Meryl Streep comes at like an hour late, and like 25 people line up in a row from Warner Brothers and ABC to meet Meryl Streep. It was literally, Matt, it was like meeting the Queen of England. She went down this line. Hello, Miss Streep. It's an honor to literally 25 people. I'm the last guy on the end of this long line. Miss Streep. Oh, Miss Streep. It's an honor. It's an honor. She just won the Oscar for Sophie. Biggest star in the world. She comes down. The woman next to me was my friend Carla from Warner Brothers Television. So there's Carla, and then there's me. So Meryl comes down. Carla goes, Miss Streep, it's such an honor to meet you. My name is Carla from Warner Brothers. Okay, they shake hands. Meryl Streep comes to me, man. I was so nervous. My heart's racing. I go, hi, hello, Carla. My name is Dan. Carla. I called Meryl Streep. I called Meryl Streep Carla, the most famous woman. I called her Carla. She looked at me like the RCA Victor dog. What is
Oh, cocktail, yeah.
and then she walked away, and my friend Carla goes, Dan, you just called Meryl Streep Carla. I go, really? I did? So
Oh
those are
man.
the kinds of stories that are in my book.
That sounds like the kind of silly thing I would certainly do. Okay, so let's move on to the topic of UAPs. Now in 2023, you wrote the book After They Came. That sounds like a pretty ominous title. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I actually wrote After They Came in 2017.
Okay.
It got published in 2023.
Got it.
I'll do the quick version. It's a remarkable story, not just because it's me, but it is a remarkable story. Sorry, man. In March 1970, I was 13 years old. My father drove me home one day from school in the afternoon, suburban New Jersey, where I grew up. My father's driving me home. I'm in a passenger seat. I'm 13, March 1970. Through the windshield, I see a huge UFO hovering above my father's car. It was a silver V, letter V like Victor, shiny silver V, Matt. It was huge. I would say each wing was maybe the size of 2 school buses. Okay, that big, maybe 400 or 500 feet, no more, no higher than that, hovering above my father's car. So I'm in the car. I go, Dad, look, there's a UFO. Dad, stop the car. Dad, stop the car. There's a UFO. I'm jumping up and down in my seat. My father stops the car. We get out. We stand in front of the car. And I'm literally jumping up and down with my finger, man. I'm like, look, Dad, look, it's Star Trek, Dad. Isn't this cool, man? Isn't this cool? It's Star Trek. My father looked at it, Matt, like he was bored to tears.
Wow.
Bored, no reaction. No, he wasn't afraid. He wasn't nervous. I was enthralled. My father had no reaction whatsoever. I remember thinking, Dad, what the hell?
Yeah, right.
He looked at it like it was a head of lettuce at Ralph's. Like my father looked at it like, oh, yeah, oh, okay. Nothing. Okay.
Wow.
Get back in the car. We go home. This is 1970. Rotary telephone. I called the Asbury Park Press newspaper, my hometown. Hi, my name is Danny. I'm 13. I just with my father. The lady said, Sonny, I can't talk to you right now. We're getting hundreds of phone calls about this. I gotta go. I remember
Wow.
clear as day. Okay, Matt. No article ever ran in the paper.
Of course not. Yeah.
Now, I forgot that happened for 47 years. Okay, I forgot about that event in my life for 47 years. Now we come to 2017, April. My dad died. He passed away in Florida with his second wife. He was 86. He had a bad death. And I'm in LA when he passed. So I'm very upset. Sad. I was close to my dad. 3 days after my dad dies, I go to Junior's Deli in Westwood to get a pastrami sandwich because my dad and I used to go there when he came to visit me, right? I got a pastrami sandwich in my father's honor, okay?
Awesome.
And I swear everything I'm about to tell you, man, it's true, and I still can't believe it, but everything I'm going to tell you now is true. I order my sandwich. I'm sitting there thinking about my dad. A beam of light came from above and banged into my head on the right side hard. And then through my eyes and my brain, projected in the air, I'm going to say 6 to 8 inches projected in front of my face at the deli, was the March 1970 UFO sighting I had with my father. It played as a home movie in front of my eyes. I swear to God, that's
amazing.
A true story. It was color. It was like a hologram color with audio. And I'm watching it, Matt, and my heart's beating. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember that. I saw me jumping up and down. Now, it wasn't from my eyes or my point of view. I was in the video. My joke is God was the cameraman, like Cecil B. DeMille, like without camera.
Yeah.
And he was, behind my father's car. So it was me, my dad, the car, the V, and the sky. The whole scene was in the frame. And I see myself. Now, this time, my dad's looking and like no reaction. Then he looks at me, Matt, and he winked at me. Then he said, come on, kid, let's go home. That part I did remember.
Wow.
But he winked at me. Okay, so now this dissipates, the little home movie, right? I'm shaking. I'm like, what the hell was that? Then I hear in my right ear, get a pen. You need a pen. I asked my waiter for a pen. There was a paper placemat on the table in front of me at Junior's Deli. My hand, Matt, did automatic writing, which I've never done before or since. My hand wrote 3 things. My hand wrote, write a book about benevolent aliens. Lead character's father knew about UFOs. And then my hand wrote capital A, capital T, capital C. My hand stopped moving. And I'm looking at this paper. I'm like, what the hell is happening to me? What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm staring at this paper, and then after a few minutes, I'm like, ATC, okay. I don't know how to do this. After they came, I can't do this. I suck at this.
No, you're good. You're good.
So that's where this book came from. It came from there. I finally get my pastrami sandwich. I eat it, I inhale it, I go home. And then over the next year, I wrote it and researched it. Now, who was my father? Okay. Here's the key to this whole thing. My father was an electronics engineer and a physicist for the U.S. Army for 45 years, 51 to 96. My father, after he died, I discovered, and I have this in writing, my father helped invent military drones for the Army. I found a profile of him after he died from his workplace that I have. My father invented military drones for the Army. That's number one. Number 2, I called my mother. I said, did Dad ever talk about UFOs in all the years you were together? My mom goes, in the early 50s, they took your father deep into the vaults at Fort Monmouth Army Base in New Jersey. They showed your father something top secret. He came home that night, shaky and pale and nervous, very upset. My mother said to him, honey, what's wrong? My father said, I saw something today in the vaults I could never tell you about as long as I live. My mother said he was never the same, Matt, and my father never
Hmm.
told a soul whatever he saw. He never told anyone ever. That's number two. Number three, Richard Dolan's book, UFOs in the National Security State, Volume 1, in the back is a glossary of UFO sightings above military installations in America. In 1951 and 1952, there were UFOs detected on radar above Fort Monmouth, New Jersey. My father worked there then. He started in 51 and 52.
Okay.
So even if he wasn't outside and saw them with his eyes, he was in the radar branch. Someone had to say, "Hey,
Of
Jack,
course. Yeah.
there's
Totally.
had to have happened. Jack, there's UFOs above us." My dad was in the radar unit. Of course, he had to have known. And this is the killer of all, man. Last year, Stephen Greer did a 3-hour talk at the Washington Press Club about all the whistleblowers he has lined up who could testify before Congress that they've worked on craft, technology from craft and or with ET bodies, dead or alive. 3-hour talk. In his talk, he shows a slide of 145 U.S. military bases that he has proof of through his whistleblower network of military bases that worked on reverse engineering of ET technology. Okay, Matt. So I'm watching this and I live when it's on, and I'm like, holy s. So I freeze
Hmm.
framed my big TV. I got up. I did it with my hand. I went down 145, number 51, Fort Monmouth, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put all those clues together. My father invented drones. He had a top secret job. My mother said he saw something that changed his life. Richard Dolan says there were UFOs above my father's workplace. Greer proved my father's workplace worked on reverse engineering. And my father and I saw a major UFO. He was bored to tears and he winked at me. Okay, so put it all together.
Yeah.
My dad knew what the UFO was,
He totally did.
and he totally knew. And from heaven, 3 days after he died, I'm going to get a pastrami sandwich. And my father sent me a video from heaven. I think it was from my father. Danny, remember that UFO we saw? I couldn't tell you my whole life what I did for a living, but I'm dead now, and I want you to have this clue. So my dad gave me that gift, and that gift became a book after they came.
I absolutely love that. So after you saw this thing as a kid, do you remember, like, when you got home, did you go and play and just completely forget about it? I'm curious, like, how long was it that it was in your consciousness before it just kind of like went away for such a long period of time?
It's a great question. Like I said, I went home. I called the Asbury Park Press right
Right.
away. As soon as I got home, "Hi, I'm Danny. I saw a UFO. Sonny, we can't talk. I can't talk hundreds of calls." Hung up. The next 3 or 4 days, man, I looked in the paper. No article, no article. Well, after that, man, that was it. I just got my drums. I'm a drummer. I just got my drums. I just met my best friend Steve, who is a guitarist. We've been best friends for about 60 years. We were in rock bands. We're chasing little girls, right? We're going to school. We're going to Hebrew school. We're studying for our bar mitzvahs. I'm not thinking about aliens and UFOs,
Of
man.
course.
And people have asked me this, Dan, did your dad ever talk to you? I'm like, no, Matt, we never discussed it ever. Never once in my father's life. I don't know how old he was then, but he would have been, okay, he would have been 40 then. He died at 86. He and I never once ever discussed, and it's a big regret, man. I wish I could have asked him, but I never did.
Yeah, but that's not an uncommon story to hear. People will, like a couple will see a UAP outside a disc or whatever, and then they'll go in and they'll order a pizza and not talk about it ever again. So those kinds of sort of, I'm trying to remember. I think I heard the term inappropriate reaction. Like, you would think if you see this stuff and and of course you're there with your dad, you would go home and be on the phone with every single family member going, "Hey, you wouldn't believe what we saw." But it's not that uncommon.
I've been telling this story around the world for the last 2 years. I've heard a lot of people say similar things. I can interject this. This is interesting. I have my own podcast. It's called Live from Hollywood. It's Paranormal Tonight. It's live every Thursday night for an hour. 2 nights ago, Thursday, I interviewed Dave Foley and Tom Wheeler.
I love them.
Yeah, they're so
I was on their
they
show
have a
about a month or two ago. They're fantastic.
They're great. They're actually kind of friends of mine. So
Awesome.
really with Tom and Dave, you know that.
Oh yeah,
So
good
I was
people.
interviewing them 2 nights ago, and I said to both of them, have you had encounters? Tom saw some kind of ghost when a few years ago in
Right.
LA, and that was a side story. But then I said, David, I know you saw a UFO. He goes, yes. Last year, Dave Foley was with Jeremy Corbell. They were at an orange grove somewhere where Jeremy Corbell lives. And they're walking Jeremy's dog at night, and they're just talking and minding their own business. And an orange, I think it was a triangle, he said, an orange craft. They see an orange craft in the distance. And they're looking, they go, see that? Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. And as they're standing there, it gets very, 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 very close to both of them. And it's hovering right in front of Dave Foley and Jeremy Corbell. Jeremy Corbell whispers to Dave, I'm not gonna take a picture, which is an interesting,
Yeah.
because I said, Dave, did you take photos? Jeremy said, I'm not even going to take a picture. They just stared. I said, Dave, were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you enthralled? He said, Dan, we had no emotions of any kind. We watched this thing like, oh, there's a huge UFO. Okay. Just, it's almost like you just said, Matt, like an inappropriate reaction.
It's
It's like they
bizarre.
were numb, that they were numb. Now I'm thinking, I wonder if my father didn't know what the V was, he must have he was so scared he was numb. But I know in my heart, I know my father knew what that thing was.
Well, yeah, and he probably didn't want to scare you as well. If he flips out, of course, his son is going to be pretty worried. So
Well, I'll tell you, if Rays had come, beamed us up, or little aliens had come, I probably would have, essed my pants and run down the street. But
yeah,
I remember saying, Dad, look, it's Star Trek, it's Star Trek. I'm 13. You don't see something like that in Asbury Park, New Jersey, on your suburban street right after I think you picked me up from Hebrew school. I mean, it's so incongruous as to be remarkable.
absolutely. I mean, it is definitely some strange stuff. And speaking of strange, one of the things that, and I always say I'm completely new to this topic, but one of the things that I found was completely strange was this whole like the paranormal connection between UAPs and poltergeists and whatnot. I literally had no idea that they tended to locate, co-locate, or that they're somehow linked. Now, tell us a bit about your new book, Paranormal Life. That kind of goes into a bit of that whole connection.
It does. It does. So thank you for asking. My newest book is called My Paranormal Life. It's this one back here, black and white cover. It's a paranormal memoir. It's real stories from my real life. It has nothing to do with my entertainment life. My whole life I've had two tracks, really. The entertainment track was one. And then just last year, I was sitting around bored, and I'm like, I have a lot of paranormal weird stories. I should do something with it. So I put them in chronological order, got a publisher, and it came out. Um, all right, so a couple things. After my father died, like I said, he gave me that home movie from heaven. But a week after that, Matt, he visited me in my bedroom 3 times as a ghost. Once he turned my lights on and off in my room. Once he started playing my little drum set, which he had given me years ago as a gift. I knew it was my
Wow.
father. And the best one, and this is really intense and very personal, but a week after he died, I was in Simi Valley for a business meeting. I go to the meeting, I go to the hotel, I'm asleep, 3 in the morning, I'm asleep. This is 5 days after my father died. My bed starts to shake and rumble back and forth. I thought it was an earthquake. And I hear from underneath my mattress, Danny, Jeannie changed my will. Well, that was my father's voice.
Wow.
And Jeannie, his wife's second wife was Jean. He was the only person on planet Earth who called her Jeannie. No one called her Jeannie but him. Danny, Jeannie changed my will. Now, my dad had Alzheimer's the last 2 years of his life. And I sat up, Matt, shaking. I said, Dad? I turn on the lights. There's no one in the room. I look under the bed. There's no one there. This is 5 days after my father died. I swear to God, this is a true story. So my brothers and I hired a lawyer in Florida. And turns out my father's second wife changed his insurance policies, changed his will while he had Alzheimer's. We didn't know. And my father told me from heaven. Now, that's a true story, man. So I don't know how you explain that. But my dad found a path to me from the other side. He did. I have a great story about my grandfather, who was a poltergeist.
I'd love
Want
to hear it.
that one?
Yeah.
I have a chapter in my new book called My Grandfather, the Poltergeist. 20 years ago, I moved to Beverly Hills area with a girlfriend, and we got this beautiful old 1920s three-bedroom apartment. She moved in a few days before me. We moved in together. So she moved in. She's putting some stuff away in the new apartment. I'm at work in Hollywood at my office. Three moving men are outside at the truck on Doheny Drive, our street. And she's just walking around an empty apartment, and she hears, Joe, like that. Joe, she turned around. No one was there. She calls me at my office. She goes, Dan, you're not going to believe this. Someone just called Joe to me in the apartment. I said, it had to be the moving men, right? She goes, no, they're outside. I'm looking at them. They're outside. Okay, that's number one. Then I move in a few days later. A week after that, she and I are watching TV. I remember it's the only time in my life I ever saw American Idol. We're watching American Idol. And we hear this like plop in the dining room. There was like plop. I'm like, what was that? Go in the dining room. There had been a paper sack filled with kitchen utensils. It had been there for a week, undisturbed. The kitchen dish, there was a plastic kitchen dish drainer sink thing with the slots for dishes. It had popped out of this bag upside down 3 feet in front of the bag. It had popped out, flew 3 feet, and landed upside down in the dining room. I look at it, I'm like, how the hell did that happen? There wasn't an earthquake. There was no explanation for it. So I put it back in the sack. Okay, that's fine. Now the story gets so much better. A week after that, one night I'm in the living room. We had a beautiful fireplace in that apartment. One night I'm in the living room. My girlfriend's making dinner in the kitchen. I had bought a tube of, those long decorative fireplace matches, the long
Sure.
ones.
Oh, yeah.
I had just bought a tube, those brand new tube of those for the fireplace. So I unscrewed, Matt, I unscrewed one of the caps on that thing, right? And then, like a normal person would have reached in and pulled out one or two matches, like gently. I grabbed 50 matches all at once. I grabbed 50 matches. I pulled them out of the tube so fast they lit. All 50 lit.
Wow.
I'm holding a torch in my hand, 5 inches from my eyebrows. I'm thinking, there goes my eyebrows.
Sure.
There's a fire in my hand, a huge fire. And I'm like, what did I just do? And now I swear to God, from my left peripheral vision, from the dining room, a dark, bluish, grayish smoke came from the dining room. It flew through the dining room. It flew through the living room. I'm seeing this thing coming at me. It grabbed this torch out of my hand. It pulled this torch out of my hand, and it threw the torch into the fireplace. And I'm like, because I didn't do that. I didn't throw it. I wouldn't even have thought of it. Of course, that's the logical thing. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
All right. What other interesting UAP experiences have you had as an adult?
Okay, so again, the first one in 70, me and my dad.
Right.
The second one in 96, me and my son. The third one, Matt, was in the year 2008. Now, I had joined MUFON Southern California in 2007. That's really when my UFO interest kicked in. And again, I still hadn't remembered the 70 event. But in '07, I'm not sure how or why, but I was fascinated by UFOs. I had gone to a bookstore and saw a paranormal books aisle in '07. And I'm like, paranormal books? What the hell is paranormal books?
Right.
And there's Eric Von Daniken and Zechariah Sitchin and Richard Dolan and Stanton Friedman and Kathy Martin, stories about Betty and Barney Hill and Nazca lines and petroglyphs and crop circles. And I'm like, oh my, what is all this? This is '07. So I bought 1,000,000 books. I read all 1,000,000 books. I joined MUFON Southern California in '07 because that's when I heard about MUFON. My very first meeting at MUFON '07, Matt, was Giorgio Tsoukalos. And this is two years before his TV show. So he was not even famous. And he did 90 minutes on ancient alien theory. And I was there like this with my head, and I was crying. And I'm like, this is the most amazing information. I'm telling you, it was for me personally, it was a religious experience. I tear like this. At the end of the 90, I said, I hugged him. I said, Giorgio, you just changed my entire view of the world. And he goes, cool, man, cool. I'm glad you're one of us now.
Did he have the big hair back then?
He did. He did. But he was not. This is 2 years before he was famous.
Right.
Okay. No, and I worked with Bruce Springsteen before he was famous. That's a whole. We could do that when I was in high school. That's a whole other story. Okay. So a year later, in '08, a man named James Gilliland spoke at MUFON LA meeting. and he owns the ECETI Ranch in Washington State at the base of Mount Adams. ECETI, ECETI. ECETI Ranch is a world-famous UFO hotspot. I went to this meeting. He spoke. He showed films and videos of incredible UFOs in his skies. And these are not like you have to squint and stand on your head and make believe you're seeing the UFO. These are like UFOs. These are UFO movies, like crystal clear UFO movies.
Right.
And so I was with a girlfriend named Barbara. She was a TV writer. I brought her. I said, Barbara. Oh, so he said, I'm having a 3-day open house weekend, 4th of July, 2008. Come up to my ranch, hang out. We'll see UFOs. I go, Barbara, please, can we go? Barbara, please, can we go? Can we go? Yeah, we can go. So my girlfriend and I spent 3 days up at his ranch. I'm going to say 150 acres of absolutely nothing. And then there's trees around the perimeter. His little log cabin house is there. And then in the distance is Mount Adams. Mount Adams, this is in Washington State. Mount Adams is one mountain down from Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier is where Kenneth Arnold saw his UFOs in June 47.
Okay.
So it's a cousin mountain. So we go for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, July 08, the ECETI Ranch. So James had erected a large white tent on the property. And during the day, people like Nick Pope and William Henry, I think David Childress, famous people were speaking about aliens and crop circles and orbs and UFOs and all the great stuff in the afternoons. And then at night, people built a bonfire on the field, and they were singing and playing guitars and tambourines and dancing around the fire. So the first day, Friday, seminars, lectures, fine. Night, bonfire, dancing. Me and Barbara were looking up for hours and hours at the sky. Absolutely nothing happened. Okay. Second day, Saturday, same thing. Lectures, seminars, bonfire, dancing, looking up at the sky for hours and hours. Absolutely nothing. And Matt, after a while, your neck really starts to
Of course, yeah.
When you're looking, like my parents, I remember when I was little, they went to the Sistine Chapel and came back, and my father said, Danny, my neck will never be this.
You're looking up the whole time. Yeah,
because you look it up. All right, so now
Sure.
the third day, the last day of this 3-day event, and it cost a couple $100 to go. Lectures, film, seminars, bonfire, looking up at the sky. I'm going to say an hour and a half, 2 hours, Matt. Nothing, absolutely nothing, right? This is the last day. I pull my car key. I swear to you, this is all a true story, man. I pull car keys out of my pants. I go, Barbara, if we leave right now, we can beat the rush. Look at all these cars. As soon as I said that, Matt, a huge black UFO craft, large, came from nowhere behind us, came over our heads. I'm going to say 400, 500 feet above us, less maybe, and just hovered above 200 people on the ground. We're all looking up, and it's just stopped and hovered. I said out loud, what the hell is that thing? I remember saying that. What the hell is that thing? Like, what? What? Okay. In the middle of this thing, underneath the middle of this thing, suddenly a large glass crystal bulb, I'm going to call it a large bulb, turned on. Bright, beautiful, dark emerald green light came on in this bulb. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Then that light from the bulb then beamed down above 200 people on the ground. We're all looking up like in the X-Files when you're looking up,
Right.
and they're bathed in the white light. We were bathed in emerald green light from the Wizard of Oz. And it was like light, 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 light. And it was like Morse code. It was Morse code in green light. I'm telling you, we're all bathed in this beautiful light. And Matt, first my heart is racing. My hands are shaking. And I'm getting messages. Not in my ear, not in my brain. I'm getting messages in my heart, and I could still feel them. I swear to you, still feel them to this day. Hi, we're here. Sorry we're late. We know you've been waiting for us. We got delayed. Everything's cool. We love you. Don't be afraid. We're your friends. We love mankind. Be kind to one another. Be kind to planet Earth. We gotta go. We'll see you another time. Have a lovely evening. Okay, that's what I'm getting, and I still feel it right now. In fact, I'm getting chills when I'm telling you this story. And then the light turned off, and then the craft just like slowly moved away a little bit, and then bang, zoom, flew over Mount Adams, and it disappeared. Okay, I was crying. We were crying. We were hugging. I'm like, can you believe that? Did that really just happen? So that was my third UFO, and I still feel it to this day, and it was profound. And I knew, man, that was not a Chinese weather
Of
balloon.
course.
That was not a military drone from Edwards. That was not a UFO my father built, okay? That was a UFO with extraterrestrials on board. I know it. I know it because I experienced it. I know that for sure. I knew that, like, okay, they're real. I knew. And then the last UFO, I'll do this quickly. 2 months, June, July, August, 3 months ago already. I was the publicist for Contact in the Desert this year. We had 2,000 people in Palm Springs, world's largest UFO conference, 10th anniversary of the event. Top UFO researchers in the world were there speaking. So the last night of the event, they had a CE5. Matt, I'm sure, Matt, you know what a CE5 event is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'd heard of CE5s. I'd never been to one. And my friend Mike Mazzola is a filmmaker. He said, Dan, you gotta go. You gotta go. I'm like, man, it's late. I go to bed early. He goes, now come on, you gotta go. He grabbed me literally by the hand. You gotta go. Okay. So from 9 to 10:30 p.m., Palm Springs at the resort on a grassy field where 200 people are in a circle holding hands, looking up at the sky. And there's a leader in the middle, and he's the leader of the CE5 event. And he's going, oh, space brothers in heaven, we love you. We want to meet you. Please show yourselves. Please come down. If you'd like to land, we'd love to meet you. We have open hearts and open minds. We're here for you. We want to communicate. It was really lovely. It really was. So we're from 9 to 10:30 p.m. 200 people were holding hands, looking up. Again, my neck is killing me, right? And I'm thinking to myself, this is very sweet, very sweet. And then after 90 minutes, I'm like, man, this is dopey. You can't summon a UFO.
Right.
You can't just summon it. I said to myself, this is so not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So at 10:30, the leader says, okay, everyone, you're probably tired of standing. Lay on the grass if you'd like. Lay on the grass and look up at the sky. I'm like, oh, thank God, right? So we all laid on the grass. I put my jacket under my head like a little pillow. And I look at my watch, it's 10:35, and I'm thinking, man, I got a big day tomorrow. I got to wake up at 6. I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. If nothing happens in 5 minutes, I'm going to bed.
Sure.
And I swear to God, as soon as I thought that to myself, suddenly above us in the sky, there's a boom. It's like not super loud, but it was like, boom. Look up, there's a big puff of dark gray smoke with the boom. And I swear on my daughter, this is true, man. Out of this boom smoke, a V-shaped, white V-shaped craft shot out of the smoke. It had rounded corners. It was bright white, beautiful white, like vanilla ice cream white, V, rounded corners. It had a gold stripe of like gold color paint. It's like reminded me of vanilla ice cream with caramel ribbon. It had a gold ribbon of color through the white, and it's flying 300 feet low, man, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And here's the killer part. Under each of the two V wings were 3 octopus suction pods, 3 and 3, and they were like pulsating like this. They were pulsating. They were translucent. They were lit up. And Matt, I'm telling you, they looked like they had heartbeats. They were like boom, 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 boom. And I saw this clear as day, and I said to myself, whatever that thing is, that's alive. That's alive. We all saw it. People were crying and hugging, and that was 3 months ago, man. And I'm so glad I didn't leave, because had I left, I would have missed
You would have missed it.
Minutes.
Now, you founded the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. What is the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance?
Okay, thank you for asking. So when my book came out after they came last year, March, I went to a bunch of UFO conferences to promote the book. The first one was Alien Con in Pasadena. And then a few weeks later was UFO Con in San Francisco. There, I met Stephen Bassett. And for those of you who don't know, Stephen Bassett is a longtime disclosure advocate. He's based in Washington, D.C. He's the first ever Washington lobbyist to lobby for the disclosure of the ET presence on Earth. He did that in 1996. He's been in the New York Times. He's been on Washington Post. He's been all over the place. He's famous. He's fairly famous. So I went to the UFO Con to promote my book with my brother. He lives up in Monterey. And we saw Stephen give a 90-minute lecture about disclosure and what's going on in Washington. So after that, I saw it was brilliant and fantastic, and I knew who Stephen was, but I had never met him. Afterwards, he was in the restaurant. I was in the restaurant with my brother. He was with friends. I said, Stephen, I loved your talk about disclosure. It was wonderful. Here's a copy of my book as a gift, and I just wanted to say hi and shake your hand. He goes, Dan, what do you do? I go, I'm a Hollywood publicist. Matt, he stands up. He goes, you're a Hollywood publicist. He goes, I want a Hollywood publicist. I want a Hollywood publicist.
Sure.
He reaches in his hand. He pulls out 20 of his business cards. Like they flew all over the table. He was so excited. And I'm like, this guy is excited about me. I'm like, to me, he's like Ringo of UFO. It's like meeting one of the Beatles of ufology. He's excited about me. So we exchanged business cards. That was March 2023. 2 months later, May, the tail end of May 2023, he calls me, Dan, I'm in LA. Let's have lunch. Fine. We had 3-hour lunch in Hollywood, me and Steve Bassett. No one else was there. He told me his whole life story. I told him mine. At the end of this lunch, he looks at me. He said, Dan, I'm a disclosure guy. You're a Hollywood guy. What can we do together? And Matt, I don't know if this ever happened to you, but every now and then, man, I literally get a light bulb. It goes off my head. It's almost literally
Sure.
a light bulb. I look at this guy. I look down at Stephen. I go, we're going to create the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. He goes, oh my God, that's it. That's exactly right. We shook hands. Now we have 3 words. All we have is 3 words. Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. It's all we have. But his face lit up. He goes, that's it. That's what we're going to do. 3 days later was Contact in the Desert 2023. He goes, Dan, you gotta go. Let's tell everybody. I go, I'm not schlepping out to Palm Springs. It's too far. I don't want to go.
Sure.
I go, I just want to relax and sit on my ass and read my newspaper. No, Dan, you have to go. I'll introduce you to everybody. You have to go. I go, fine. So I was Steve Bassett's roommate. He put me up in his room. We were roommates that weekend. And he introduced me to Nick Pope and Richard Dolan and Paul Hynek and Ron Janix and Ron James and Katie Page and Earl Grey Anderson and Whitley Strieber and Travis Walton. I mean, the list went on and on. George Norrie. And we told everybody, Matt, we are going to create the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. You should have seen their faces. Really? I want to be part of that. Every single person, the most famous UFO people in the world, everyone. Oh, I want to be part of that. So we had all these so we had 3 words, and now we have every famous UFO person in the world. So the last summer and fall, Stephen and I go, okay, what the hell are we going to do now? We have 3 words, and we have every major person. What the hell is Hollywood? We didn't know what it was. Didn't know what it was.
Sure. Awesome.
My daughter creates the logo. She's a graphic artist. She creates the website. I said, Stephen, you invite all your people into this thing. I'll invite my people. I call it chocolate and peanut butter, man. We're 2 disparate flavors that worked well together. We put all our people together. We created a website. And after many months of agony, Stephen and I came up with the following. The Hollywood Disclosure Alliance is the world's only networking organization through which 2 disparate groups of people have the ability to share stories and content and talent. 1/2 of our members, we have about 200 members now, and I'm very proud of that. I'm the chairman. Half of our members are UFO, ET experiencers, researchers, and disclosure advocates. I mean, we have Travis Walton, Whitley Strieber, Richard Dolan, Nick Pope. Everyone you could think of is on that side of the fence, man. And then we have Hollywood writers, producers, directors, and performers. Shirley MacLaine, Dee Wallace from ET, Thomas Jane, Dave Foley, Dania Ramirez, who's a famous TV star. We have producers of the Project Blue Book TV show, producers from Ancient Aliens. So we have 2 disparate groups, and through our networking groups online, these people are sharing screenplays, books, lectures, live events, seminars, appearances, and they're saying, "Hey, I'm going to cast my documentary. I need women who have had." Who have been impregnated by extraterrestrials, and women go, oh, that happened to me. So it's a very robust group that we have. If anyone's interested, it's HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org, org.org. You can join there. If you make a donation of $150 a year, that's what we're asking. We're a 501c3, and we're a year old. We're the only thing of our kind in the world. And already several documentaries and TV shows have been developed through HDA. It's one of my babies. I'm very, very proud of the whole thing.
I love that. Well, thank you for joining us. Where can folks find your latest book, My Paranormal Life?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. And you and I have been talking about this for months, but I'm glad we finally pulled this off together.
Absolutely.
All of my books are on Amazon. Flirting with Fame is my Hollywood book. Flirting with Fame. After They Came is my UFO book. My Paranormal Life is my paranormal memoir. And my newest book, Matt, we didn't get a chance to talk about, just came out the other day, called Five. Five is a little supernatural murder mystery novella. It's a short book, but I'm hoping maybe I can turn that into a TV show. All my books are on Amazon. Also, danharary.author.com. You can read about me, buy my books, and write to me. Dan Harary, Harary, author.com. And also, again, HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org. We're always looking for interesting new members. Matt, if you'd like to join, man, just let me know. I'll put you in there.
I appreciate that.
And it's great to talk to you. I appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best of luck in the future, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Glad we finally made this happen, and look forward to meeting you in person. Dan Harary, ladies and gentlemen.